Alright. So I'm going to touch on Kabal today. And what's up, everyone? How's it going? Kabal is going to be a very, very easy rundown. So I played against a lot of Kabals on PC. And there are a few things that I've come up with on why he's top tier. The first reason why he's top tier is just simply because he defies neutral. This character is not playing neutral, or not playing footsies. Let's not use the word neutral because every character is technically playing their own version of neutral. But footsies is a grounded game, so all of the, what's the right word? Like, people who like to, like, call you out on the words that you use to describe how a game is played, they can't dispute the fact that Kabal is not playing footsies. He's not. He's in the air. That's not footsies. Footsies is, if you look it up in the fighting game glossary, it is grounded movement. So Kabal is not playing footsies. He's not. He's playing a different form of neutral in the air. So with that said, the reason why Kabal is arguably better than Jacqui in certain situations is that the main difference between Kabal and Jacqui is that Kabal, his air move he can't do it in strings. So he's not using it as a plus situation in a string. But what he can do is he can use it in neutral and he can use it off of certain strings to where it makes it harder for him to deal with. So for example, 2-2 is a good example that I've seen so far. 2-2 makes it to where like it's like really hard to kind of punish what he's going to do afterward because of the spacing. See how like Kabal's in the air, so you can kind of just, I think he can even delay it, so like something like this. Yeah, see, so he can kind of delay it and cause me to whiff, see? So Kabal isn't using, I mean, he's using strings, spaced out strings to continue jumping, but he's not like Jacqui where his string is jailing into his jump move. That makes it a little bit easier to kind of deal with him. I'm going to show you why. Ultimately, it's not really going to matter. First thing is, all of his strings, even though they don't go into slight gas as a string extender, plus string extender, kind of like Jacqui. They're all like either not very minus or like they space out, so it makes it harder for you to really try to take your turn back against Kabal. So for example, this string, right? Like the problem with this string, and I've talked about this before. I don't think I ever posted it. But the problem with that string is that, like, since it's -2, you're forced to down 1 there. And the problem is, if you down 1, the Kabal player can flawless block the down 1. So now, if you walk back, that allows him to jump back and do his air gas stuff. Or you could walk back and he can do back 1, right? So, like, that string being -2 is just kind of annoying because due to the fact that it leaves you right next to him, he can flawless block up 2U or up 3U. And then on top of that, if he does the OS, he's +3. So it's really favorable for him to mash there. If you try to do a slower mid or a slow, like for example, Noob has to do a slow mid or a slow low, then Kabal can actually mash down 1 because it's -2, and his down 1 will come out in 9 frames. So if you try to do like a 15 frame low, reading that he's going to flawless block your down 1, you're going to get mashed on. So that string is kind of annoying. It's in a kind of weird way, like it allows Kabal to hunt for combos, but then he doesn't have to commit to a like how Jacqui does like a hop into a shrapnel to get more plus frames. He doesn't really have to do that. He can kind of steal his turn and then a bear away. And a bear, by the way, just means mashing or stealing your turn. So, so Kabal's kind of weird. 2-2 allows him to do the jump shenanigans. 4-2-2-4 has a huge mind game off of it. This one provides pushback. So it's kind of weird. Like, Kabal's turn's not actually over in a lot of situations. And on top of that, those strings have no flawless block gap. So, don't know what they were thinking. So that's probably why you don't like Kabal. Another reason why you don't like Kabal is because he's got this buzzsaw mind game. So as you saw there, that buzzsaw was -2. That's actually +4. He can jump back and jump again. So why is this a big deal? Why is it a big deal that Kabal has buzzsaw? Well, the reason why it is because, first of all, Kabal can't be anti-aired very easily anyway, right? Because he can delay when he wants to jump. He can also do a short jump and bait out a down 2. So you could do something like that and bait out a down 2, making you think that he's going to jump at you and still hit you with his advancing jump attack. So the reason why Kabal is annoying is because even if you read all of those things off of Slight Gas alone, Slight Gas and Jump 2, because Jump 2 changes his arc. See how Jump 2 changes his arc, which means it's harder to hit him. So he can delay that and then go into a jump also. So even if you read all those jumps, the problem is if he does a buzzsaw is +40. +45. So what happens is if you get hit by the buzzsaw, let's say you're trying to anti-air and you read the exact anti-air, the exact jump-in he's going to do. Well, if he does jump-in buzzsaw, you're going to get hit by the buzzsaw and he's going to be able to jump at you freely because he's +40. Since he's +40, like look at that. Look how many jump attacks I did there. Since he's +40, +50, he can jump at you because he's +40, +50. So he'll have enough time to jump at you, and you might not have enough time to anti-air him, depending on the distance. So the whole point of why Kabal is annoying is because he actually cannot be unlike Jacqui is one of those characters that you can flawless block her shrapnel, you can air-to-air her, because she doesn't have an air projectile to stop you from trying to anti-air, like to air-to-air or anything. Kabal, you actually cannot anti-air this character without taking a hard read. You actually cannot. He has way too many options in the air. He is not Jacqui. And that is why Kabal is hated a lot. Because you actually can't anti-air Kabal. Like in a lot of situations, like you actually cannot anti-air him. Like if Noob has one of the best anti-airs in the game, at least when it comes to grounded anti-airs. And even there, Kabal can just, well, he's doing it right away. So let's say he reads a jump. And you're trading, and in a lot of situations, you'll win the trade. So even Noob is not anti-airing Kabal in certain situations where he changes his jump arc and does a buzzsaw, right? So that's why Kabal is not liked. Now, I'm going to talk about the final thing and the reason why it's extremely important to have a solid game plan against Kabal, because Kabal is a character that actually is very, very unfair compared to Jacqui. So let me give you guys a bit of a context. Jacqui, a few months ago, Jacqui did not have to burn defensive bar, or a year ago, something like that. She didn't have to burn defensive bar to get in. So she could break after you hit her, and then when she hits you, you were taking 30-40% unbreakable. That's why that got nerfed, right? They made it cost defensive bar to cancel all that stuff because they wanted the player to be able to get some type of damage, or just Jacqui to have some sort of weakness, right? Well, Kabal got to keep this. And the reason why he got to keep this is because of customs. Customs was never balanced, and Kabal got to keep it. So Kabal can get a 9-frame punish for about 222 damage, right? This is a 9-frame punish. Unbreakable. You can't break this without taking another 200 damage. But Kabal, when he's in the air, he can break right away. So if you anti-air him here, he could just break right away. And you get no damage. So Kabal, on top of him being an annoying jump character, that the jumps are in his favor, him having very powerful footsie tools, very annoying strings that allow you to steal your turn, very good jump arc to where it's pretty much impossible to do anything even after he ends his turn. Kabal spends most of his time in the air, which means when you hit him, he will be able to break because he is in the air. Basically, his game plan style allows him to do things like break away in the air because he's always in the air, right? So Kabal gets to spend his defensive meter, break most of your damage, because most characters in this game don't have a strong enough armor break to hit someone out of the air and then armor break them. Some characters do. Kabal himself does, but not all characters. Like Noob is one of those characters. He's not getting any damage if Kabal breaks after getting anti-aired. He's getting little to no damage. Unless you time back to perfectly. But other characters, they don't have an option. I tried to say Sindel, but Katana doesn't have an armor break option while Kabal is in the air unless she is using ground war. So Katana just straight up doesn't get any damage when she anti-airs Kabal. Kabal already has not very good wake-ups. They're usually used for flawless block options. So Kabal is going to be using his defensive meter to break a roll. So there's literally no reason... Like Kabal has no weakness there because he's not going to spend his defensive meter to fly around like Jacqui and cancel, but he can spend it to break and spend it to roll backwards and jump at you again. So basically his defensive meter is used perfectly. His offensive meter is used perfectly. It makes his combos do more damage on breakable. See here, this only does 186, but this is doing a small mini combo. So he can do 220, 285. Actually, he can even do more now I think about it, if you're on the ground. So if he does like something like this. So 226.97. So he can do a guaranteed 226.97 if you're on the ground. And let's say you get anti-aired, well, he can go into this and do, I think it's like 300 damage or 200 something damage. So he can armor break you in the air. You can't armor break him, usually. And he can break in the air. And then on top of that, let's say he gets grounded damage. Well, even if he does get a decent amount of grounded damage, and you break right about there, he does 265, probably a little bit less than that. Let's say 250. And when you break, he's plus because he's in the air, you're on the ground. So... that's the problem with this character. It actually doesn't have to do with the fact that he's jumping at you. The fact that he's jumping at you is what leads to all these good things. It allows him to break. So anytime you finally get your damage, he's broken and you're not getting anything. Maybe a throw at most if he takes the throw on knockdown. He's allowed to throw buzzsaws. Buzzsaws will hit you and allow him to jump. So Jacqui doesn't have a buzzsaw, she doesn't have an air projectile, but Kabal does. He can read that you're going to try to anti-air. Even if you try to anti-air the specific jump-in he's going to do. If he does jump and buzzsaw, you lose, and then he can jump freely. He has a very, very strong unbreakable damage, so he's doing more unbreakable damage to you than you're doing to him unless he's grounded. If he's in the air, you're not doing any unbreakable damage, but he's allowed to do as much, 226 unbreakable damage, and on top of that, he can armor break you if he anti-airs you with the hook sword, or down back 4. So that's why Kabal is good. I guess I can throw one more thing in here. I mean, he just has really good, his jump-ins are just plus. Like, the most unplus jump-in, I think, is like 0. Oh, that's -4. But yeah, like normally you're going to be hitting like here or like here. So you're going to be really plus in a lot of situations. You saw -4 there. So you might be minus, but very, very rarely. So Kabal has strong jump-ins too. He's got a 9-frame punish. Even if you break, you're taking 25%. if you don't break, you're taking 40. And yeah, like he's just a really strong character, and I see why you wouldn't like him as a player, just because like all of these things make him really really strong and make him beat a lot of characters just based off of that specific mechanics that I mentioned, the breakaway mechanic, and the air projectile kind of mechanic that they added to this game, or a diagonal air projectile. Because if Kabal's projectiles went straight, we wouldn't be complaining about him. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about. Have fun playing MK11 and fighting games, and I'll see you guys later.